Hey everyone, and welcome to Scott Loves Christian Music, and I'm sure this is episode 007. And today we're going to be talking about Hillsong. I was talking with a friend of mine, Dennis Dick, and I asked if he had any requests, and he said Hillsong. So I was going to go through all the Hillsongs and figure out which one was my favorite. That was not easy to do, so I am going to look at 3 decades: the 1990s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. And that's what we're going to be looking at today on Scott Loves Christian Music. But before we go, we want to say thank you to all those who have subscribed and have watched or listened and enjoyed. Love to hear from you. Email me, scottloveschristianmusic@gmail.com. You can also post comments. Those always give me a boost as well. So we are going to be talking about the Hillsong albums. Actually, sorry, I forgot one thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that we can keep making more movies. And also share them with people that you think might enjoy this. Now, I'm going to have a disclaimer here. We're going to be talking about Hillsong. Sometimes that's going to be a bit of a touchy subject with some people. I find that when I've listened through these songs, I don't have any issue with what they're saying. So I'm going to talk about these albums that have hugely impacted me. Chances are, if you aren't a Hillsong fan, you're not going to watch it because I'm going to have Hillsong in the title. But I'm going to tell a story about the very first album I think that Hillsong released. It was called Shout to the Lord. Now, the song itself, we sang quite a bit in church, in the different ministries I was a part of. So I knew about that song. Wasn't sure exactly who it was because, again, Integrity Music put out a lot of great worship music, and I don't think that Hillsong had stepped out on their own production label. But it was an incredible album from what I had heard. Actually, I only heard a couple songs before that. However, one day, my friend Angela, rest her soul, passed away just a couple years ago, which was quite tragic. But she took me for a ride somewhere. I think we were going to a music practice or something like that. And she was playing the song that was just hitting me in an incredible way. It was called Let the Peace of God Reign. And then I realized it was this Shout to the Lord album. Didn't even know that it was Hillsong, just knew that it was called Shout to the Lord. And I think their church, I can't remember what the church was called back then, but either way, it was just a powerful album. And we listened to it on tape in her blue Sunfire. Loved that car. And it was great. Actually, no, she didn't have a Sunfire. It was a Sunbird, which was basically Sunfire was the next step in that economy class for Chevrolet. But either way, that's an aside. That album, Shout to the Lord, the original one from 1996, not Shout to the Lord 2000. I like that one, but I think the other one's better. Was incredible. Really, so many songs on that album have a huge impact on me. And so I would recommend this cover to cover. Again, with streaming services, you can pick and choose the songs you want. I would encourage you to listen to the actual album, Shout to the Lord, if you can find it. It is awesome. When I listened to it the other day, it started out with Let the Peace of God Reign. I didn't think that that was the first song, but either way, that is one of my favorite songs of all time. And I think it's been very helpful in any situation I've been in. Loved singing it in worship. And so that's one of the first ones I'll talk about. The other one that I sang at Briarcrest in my basic voice. I guess it was my midterm. We had to choose a song and sing it, find our accompaniment, and I can't remember the name of the accompany or the person who was accompanying me. I think it was Leon, and he was incredible at piano. It just really allowed me to bring out my voice in that. I sang The Power of Your Love, and oh my goodness, that one's powerful as well. And then obviously Shout to the Lord. There's so many more. A Jesus, Lover of My Soul. So many songs on that album. You will not be disappointed, especially if you know these songs or have heard them before. Go back and listen to everything from number one to the end, and you're not going to be disappointed. Really very encouraging. And Darlene Zschech was known as the voice for Hillsong for so long, but again, she hadn't made a name for herself just yet, so I really enjoyed her leading on there. But they had some really good singers that went along with her on that. I don't know the names, and I'd love to find out, so I'll see what I can do about that. But check it out. The one from 1996, Shout to the Lord, was the album by Hillsong. And I don't even know that they were Hillsong just yet. But again, either way, I think you know what I'm talking about. So that was the one from 1990s. And the album from 2000s, there's a lot to choose from. I would say the album Blessed is one of my favorites. But one of the ones that I listened to a lot was God, He Reigns. And all I remember about that album at first was being at church, and we were getting ready for worship practice. There was a new song we were going to be learning, and all of a sudden the drums kicked in, and I almost got emotional. I got the chills. It was incredible. It felt like there was such an anointing on the drumming. Now, that was Mike Derry, who I loved his drumming a lot. Very good drummer, solid. There's not much else you can say about him. He is just, he was a drummer you always knew you could trust and rely on, and was amazing. So I've always appreciated drummers. And when I was at Briarcrest, I felt that. I started to notice that with some of the drummers. And Gordy Cochran was a drummer for one of the worship teams, and every time he played, I was wondering if it was just the worship team itself, but I noticed that whenever he played, I was just blown away by just the way that the Spirit moved when he was playing drums. And then I was at a Starfield concert one time, and I'm like, wow, that drummer is amazing. It almost reminds me of Gordy Cochran. And the next song before it started, they're like, "Why we'd like to welcome our brand new drummer, Gordy Cochran." And so that was pretty awesome. I was very encouraged by that, and reminded that, you know what, God can use any instrument however you want to use it. And I just love that. And that was one of the things you could tell with Gordy and Mike Derry. But as we were learning in worship with Mike Derry, it was Let Creation Sing. And it starts with just the drums and probably just one held chord on a keyboard. And oh my goodness, that became instantly my favorite song. So Let Creation Sing was the first song on God, He Reigns. And the first three songs are just, I can't even describe it. Just so full of energy and victory. The second song, Salvation Is Here. The third song, His Banner Over Me. All three, just high energy and just get you into such a good mood. After that, there's a mostly kind of more mellow, thoughtful praise songs or worship songs. But it was something that I listened to over and over and over again when it came to driving. I'd have the CD in there. Actually, I thought it was a double disc set, but either way, it's something that you are not going to be disappointed listening to the entire album. And I think that one was from 2005, but it's called God He Reigns. Wasn't as popular as some of the other albums, but it was awesome. Just loved it. Then moved to 2017. A lot of albums came out from there. And the album, I decided to move over to Hillsong United because Hillsong and Hillsong United, and then obviously they added Hillsong Young and Free. So there's 3 different generations that they were looking to reach with that. Hillsong United was originally intended to be for the younger crowd, and it was. Then Hillsong United, as the time went by, became something for young adults or 30s, 40s, because they were the ones that enjoyed it back when it originally came out. But then Hillsong Young and Free came out for the younger crowd in the mid 2000s or mid 2010s. And so they've had some great songs in there as well. Haven't talked about them, but we're going to look at Hillsong United. Taya Smith took over vocals when she brought out the album, or when they brought out the album that had Oceans. I can't remember exactly what the album is called at the moment, but Oceans was just a powerful song. There's a lot of songs on there that were great, but for me, the album Wonder from 2017 had songs like Wonder. Wonder, when I first heard that, just blew me away. Also, So Will I, 100 billion times, I think that's what it's called. And then a song that became kind of an anthem for me in the middle of my cancer struggle was a song called Not Today. And that one is powerful. Every time I speak your name, Jesus, I tell the devil, not today. It's just powerful. And so many of the words in there are words we really need to take to heart. And that's what I loved about that. So I'd love to go more in detail, but I have to keep my time down on these. And so I'm not going to be able to go through all the albums, but all 3 of those are albums that you will be able to listen to from cover to cover, and you're not going to be disappointed. So once again, Hillsong's original album from 1996, Shout to the Lord. Also, Hillsong Worship from 2005, God He Reigns. And then 2017, the album Wonder by Hillsong United. So once again, if you would like to make any comments, would love to hear it. Email me, scottlovechristianmusic@gmail.com. And also, I would love it if you would share this video or subscribe or like if you like it, and tell your friends. I love doing this, and hopefully each time it gets a little more entertaining. And let me know the songs that, the albums that you'd like me to talk about. But I just want to encourage the people in Christian music because it's really had a huge impact on my life. And I hope that it'll encourage you as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. No Gracie's pick of the week. She is currently off on the couch in the sunbeam. I hope you can see it there. But she loves to go to the sunbeam when there's a sunbeam. And since the Christmas tree is gone and out of the way, she spends more time in the sun when it's there. So thank you very much for listening. This has been Scott Loves Christian Music.